That happened to me early on in my career. I remember standing there at the green screen, and my girlfriend was the anchor at the time, and she just went, "Are you okay?" And I literally went, "Huh?" And the tears came again, and I left.
We have a phenomenal, wonderful guest on board, a debut author. And we're going to speak about her book, but she's an incredible person in and out of writing. It is the wonderful Georgie Tunny.
Hello. Thanks so much for having me.
Before we get into novelist, writer, Georgie, take me into your reading journey. So what was you've always been a reader?
Always read.
Yeah. So
always read.
What was the very first? Take me back to the very beginning.
Whoa. I think that my family, I was fortunate enough that my dad was a big reader.
Yes.
So I would always see him reading. And for birthdays, Christmas, we'd always get books. We'd get lots of presents. We never went without anything, but books were always a part of that.
Yep.
My older sister was an avid reader, so I would often just take books off her shelf and start reading those. And I had to be really careful, I remember, because she liked her books to be pristine.
Are you about to tell me that you're a dog era?
Don't mind that.
I
don't mind that.
No.
I know. I love a book that looks like it's lived. I love a book that looks like it's lived.
I hate that.
See, you're my sister. Get up. Yeah. But and I had to be really careful because sometimes I'd read books that she didn't know I was reading because they were like her favorite. She's like, "You can't read that," and I'd be like, "Okay," and then I'd read it. But then if I'd have to be really careful to make sure it went exactly.
It looked like you hadn't read it. Yeah,
that's right. Yep. No dog earing.
Yep.
Going against my natural instinct.
Yeah.
You're having a conniption.
Okay, my dad. So we're getting off track
Tangents,
here, but
tangents. Love.
My dad. I'll give him books, and I love because I've really gotten him into fantasy.
Oh yeah.
I'll lend him a book, and it will come back. I'm like, "What did you do? Did you drive a car over this book?"
And then back over.
And literally, I was like, "Did you give this to the dogs?" It will come, and the spine, spine is broken into 1 million places.
Yeah.
There's dog ears.
Do you know what? But I like that though.
I hate it. And he'll even because obviously we do physical labor and he'll have dirty hands.
Oh yeah.
And then there'll be black smudges on pages. And I'm like, what is this? I've forced him to buy me new books.
Really?
Buy
they were
me
so
the same.
destroyed.
They were so destroyed. Yeah.
Really?
I've literally forced
Wow.
him. I'm like, I've bought a new copy of this, and I need you to transfer me $30. Yeah.
Whereas this is why I don't love hardcover books because the more you read them, the more they just disintegrate in your hands, right? So but I love a cover, I love a spine that's got you can tell tale signs of it being worn down. Yeah.
Oh,
so part of mine was I just had always, had books in my life. My dad was a fantasy reader.
Yep.
So I think it was is it Terry Pratchett? I
Yeah,
just remember
Terry Pratchett,
all of those books and just I can
Terry
see
Brooks.
I can
Terry Brooks,
see the spines of them so clearly on our bookshelves.
Yep.
But I think for me also at school I'd always fallen into stories, and I think because my family itself not super adventurous. Our one holiday a year, we went to the Gold Coast, which is an hour out of Brisbane. You know what I mean? We weren't world travellers. We didn't do anything like that. But through books was where I my world got bigger.
Yes.
And that's what expanded everything, and I got to fall into these different worlds, and it made me want to dream big.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I completely agree. And I've said that many, many times on the podcast. What genre are you? What genre were you when you were a kid?
Ooh.
And what genre are you now?
I remember reading Meg Cabot, the Mediator series, and Jacqueline Wilson, which were, I guess, directed at teenage girls. I don't even know what the genre is. I hate the term chick lit, but it's I don't know, just a kid's version of that, I guess.
Yep.
And I loved those, but then also I started finding adventure stories. Harry Potter. I'm a Harry Potter kid.
Did you ever get any Del Toro quest?
Yes, loved Del Toro quest. Yep, all that. Those kind of worlds and that sense of a quest. Anything with a quest.
Don't start me on quests.
Loved. Yes, I must read. I had my vampire moment, and I still, don't get me wrong, still love vampires, still love werewolves. Vampire Academy was Michelle. So I read all those. I actually think I'm kind of a multi-genre.
Yeah.
Which
is the best way to be, by the way.
Yeah, like I'm open to everything except nonfiction.
I'm the exact same.
Yeah.
We on your podcast we said this, we're like the male and girl version
We
of
literally
each other.
are. Yeah, it freaked Jill me out. She was like, oh no.
But why don't you like nonfiction?
Okay, there's two things that immediately come to mind. One, it's my job, right?
Yes.
Like I deal in the world of facts and reality
news,
and news.
reporting,
So and I love that. But then when I want to just escape, ideally it would be a different space that I can completely like dive into.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
Yeah,
Okay. I know quite a lot. Yeah. I don't need to learn all the time. Like, but I would argue like when you read fiction, you learn in a whole different way.
Correct.
And I prefer that.
Yes. Yeah. And now your debut novel, Over to You, which I've read, which was fantastic. And we'll talk.
That's very lovely of you to say.
It was wonderful storytelling. But so in this book, you dive into it's three girls in a newsroom, and it's very much, it's very much from your life. It's very much from your lived experience, and it's a wonderful story. So when did you sit down and go, this is my debut novel. This is what I'm going to write. This is what I'm going to finish. And this is what the story that I want to tell.
I don't know how you have found your writing flow, like over the many years that you've been writing, but I find that there's like I'll just sit down and then I'm like, oh, that's an interesting feeling for me to explore.
Yeah.
And that's how this one started, because it all came from a thought of, I want to be a writer. I've got this platform now. What's a story that would be great to tell that I could then, actually enter this world and get a publisher to back me and like have this be, the dream that I want now.
Yeah.
And I remember the first thing that I wrote in Over to You was the prologue, the very first thing. But that was just me writing for fun. Like this is before I had even contemplated a publisher. I'd even told my manager that I was thinking of doing this. Like I literally just would get home from work and I write, And that was based on a moment that had, the book is fiction, but it is based on lived experience in certain ways.
Yeah. Nothing
that happens in the book has actually happened. But the prologue is the closest thing to a true event, because it all centers around one of my main characters like fleeing the studio seconds before a live broadcast.
Yeah.
And that happened to me early on in my career.
Wow.
Like I was a baby presenter at the ABC and I was about to do my weather bulletin. Used to do the weather in front of a green screen. And I remember that literally moments before I just got out of a really, in my mind at the time, it was an upsetting conversation with my boss about my career progression.
Yeah.
I'm like 24 and 0 days old at this point in time, right? Like I don't even know how, but early 20s. And I just thought that I should have the world. And I could not quite comprehend why I didn't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that was essentially, I was a bit more tactful, I'd like to think, talking to my boss about that. And it didn't go the way that I wanted it to. And I was super upset. I'm not good at confrontation. Yeah. Anyway, and then it's just like the reality of being a, working in live TV is that you have to put things in boxes.
Yeah.
I remember I left that meeting room and I took myself out straight into the foyer of the ABC, burst into tears. My girlfriend's came out are you okay? Trying to calm me down. It's fine. Meanwhile, I've got TV makeup on. I'm just like this. And I'm like, no, it's fine. Put it in a box. Got to go present the weather.
Yeah.
So then I remember standing there at the green screen and my girlfriend was the anchor at the time and she just went, are you okay? And as soon as someone asks if you're okay.
You just broke down.
And I literally went, huh? And the tears came again and I left. And this was I'm talking minutes before I was meant to be yes, let's go around the capitals. Literally. And so bless her, she just took over and was right. And I, meanwhile, was just took myself to the bathroom and then she came and found me afterwards and put me back together. But it was based on, that was the moment that I thought, now that's fun to explore, right? Everything that you're feeling at that time. I was like, what would make someone walk out of a studio?
That. Yeah.
Right? And that's the whole premise of where Over to You came from. Yeah. I've also always been obsessed with female friendships because I guess I'm a woman who has really close friends and I would say they're some of the most, if not the most important relationships in my life. Mm-hmm. So exploring that with the background of a high-stakes newsroom where the common perception sometimes misconception is that it's super catty and competitive and just really toxic.
Yeah.
How do you survive? How do you manage that? Because there'll be so many times over the course of my career, people be like, "Do you actually like people that you work with?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, I genuinely do.
Yeah.
But I understand that it's not everyone's story.
Yes.
But there's only so many jobs, right? Like there'll be times where we are literally pitted against each other. It all came through navigating that and wanting to explore how that could work in the world.
And you created, I've got to read here, Carter, Naya, and Greta.
Yeah.
And I asked you, and I said, was Carter you?
Yeah.
But you said to me, you said each of those girls was all different parts of you.
Mm-hmm.
And so how were you creating those characters? Did you know okay, I'm putting this part of me in this one and this part of me in this one and this part of me in this one? Or was it just, did that more happen as you told the story?
It wasn't intentional. I tell the story from 3 different point of views just because I like books like that. Like, you know, it's like we're reading Carter, then we go Naya, then we go Greta, then we go Carter, Naya, Greta, which can I just say, as when I thought that was really smart and clever of me, and then actually like writing that, like
difficult.
Real hard.
Extremely difficult.
Real hard. Because if your publisher's like, that doesn't make sense, let's lose that chapter. I'm like, cool. But now I have to lose like those 2 chapters or I have to add 4. Like how do we, to make the flow work, right?
Yeah.
And I'd ruined it. Like in the first draft I submitted, I got my order all wrong. So I had to fix that anyway.
Yeah.
But it wasn't intentional. I just knew that I wanted them to be different enough so that they actually had a tone of voice.
Yep.
So that when you were, ideally, if you're picking up one of them and just opening to a page and you read it, you hopefully, even if you're not looking at their names, you should know who it is.
Yes. Yeah.
You should know who it is.
Yep.
So I wanted them to be different enough, but then as I went on throughout, there's definitely like parts of me, like that Carter came really naturally to write because of my experience in Brekkie TV.
Yep.
And Naya, I think, is more like emotionally kind of who I am sometimes. And then Greta has the brashness that I wish I had.
Yeah.
So it's almost,
so
it's kind of inspirational, aspirational,
yeah.
And I don't think I realized that so much until I was well in.
Finished, yeah. And so much, I mean, and as a writer, so much of yourself is on the page and in the characters, whether it be that's who I want to be, that's who I am, that's what I'm scared of being. You know, there's so, I feel that so incredibly deeply.
It's scary, like when you read, because now I read back, I'm like, oh God, I didn't mean to put that in there. Like, oh shit. I've revealed too much.
Yeah. No, and I get that, and it's such a vulnerable thing to do. Very healing in many ways, but also very vulnerable. And I think to write well, you have to know yourself very well. I don't think, and it's and I'm so blessed because whenever I interview authors, they're always very articulate, intellectual, aware people. But I just think that you have to be an author. But what did your writing process look like, and what did you learn during your writing?
The writing process is best described for me as chaotic.
Really?
Yep.
That terrifies me.
I think this might be where we differ. This might be our only difference as human beings.
Yeah.
Because when I was writing over to you, I was working at the project full time. I was shooting another television show. I had my 2 podcasts ongoing, and then I was somehow trying to figure out time to write this book and like adhere to my deadlines.
Yeah.
And my publisher early on was like, let's do monthly check-ins, because she realized that I needed a deadline. Like I needed to work to deadlines. That's what I'm used to.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would meet it. Sometimes I'd fall just short, but that's what I would work
keep
towards.
Keep going,
But it was really hard for me to just carve out the physical time of sitting down to write.
Yeah.
And have that match up with having the brain power.
Yeah.
Like having both things in sync.
Yes.
Real hard for me.
Yeah.
When I managed it, I found that I had to kind of be in like a cafe or like,
really?
Yeah, cafe. I took myself to like a public library where I got a lot of like the last draft done.
Yep.
Otherwise, I'm like sitting like on my couch watching a rerun of a show that I've watched millions of times. Like I can't have
Sex in the City.
Monk for me.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Love
So
Monk,
of course you do.
Yeah,
of course you do.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
But a show that I didn't have to like think about too much, but was just on in the background. Like I had to have background noise, which surprised me because I didn't think that I would want that.
That is my idea of hell when I'm writing. I need complete silence, no one near me. I like to be in my room with absolutely no distractions whatsoever, no noise, nothing, and just completely zoned in.
I thought that I was going to be that. I thought I was going to be, I need no distractions. I need to just be at one with the work and like in the middle of nowhere. And I took myself on a writer's retreat to Daylesford in like country Victoria. It was just myself and the kangaroos. And I was there just like writing, and I drove myself insane.
Really?
I drove myself insane because I would be there, and then I couldn't. I don't know what, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wonder what that is.
Yeah. Maybe it would change on the genre that I wrote. I don't know this, but maybe like if I dip back into my YA novel, like because it is like a different world, maybe that I would have to like not have the real world anywhere near it maybe.
Yeah, true. Actually, good point. Put a pin in that.
Yeah,
we'll find it. Change genres and get back to me. In this book, in Over to You, you go very deep into, and you spoke your female friendships and what it's like to be a working woman, the pressures of that, I suppose, the misogyny of those working environments. And I really want to talk to you about that. What has your experience been as a woman, as a working career woman, trying to break through glass ceilings, being restricted, being, I suppose, looked upon, or having to work harder than, and I might be putting words in your mouth here, but having to work harder than your male colleagues to get the same level of success.
That's putting words in my mouth. I would say I have had to.
Yep.
Especially early on starting in sport.
Yeah.
Like the number one question I would get asked was, so do you even like sport?
Yeah, wow.
So because people would just assume I just wanted to be on TV.
Yeah.
And I was like,
you're like a woman liking sport, that's impossible.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
Crazy. Yeah. That's wild. Yeah. And like, while, I'll still get that question, and usually there's a genuine interest behind it, but I'm also like, well, it's a very peculiar choice for me to have made and dedicate like a lot of my life to it if I didn't like it at all.
And none of your male colleagues would have ever in their entire life been like, so, hey, do you really like sport?
Yeah. I would say that throughout the course of my career, I've been held to a different standard, whether or not that's been a self-imposed one or something that's been placed upon me, maybe both, like at times.
I mean, living in a patriarchal, misogynistic world, it would absolutely become internalized.
Yeah. And I think that when it's two brushes here, because I would say that, yes, I have experienced misogyny. Yes, I've experienced sexism throughout my career. However, my very first internship was a female-specific female sports broadcast cadetship with the ABC. Yeah. So it was like, so that I also got my foot in the door by being a woman.
Yeah.
And reaping the benefits of that. Yeah. By the same token, I would say that I think that I've experienced more ageism a lot of the time, because because I think that, and again, this could be just me going back to I thought I should have had the world at 23, but I knew I was good.
In terms of you were too young or you were too old?
I was too young.
Too young, yeah.
Yeah. I got super frustrated a lot of points in my career because I knew I was good. Everyone was telling me I was good. I started being like, no, yeah, I'm offering things that aren't really there. I can do this in terms of my interviewing or analysis, and I'm good. It sounds bad, but I'm good on air talent. Like, it's like I can broadcast, Yep. So I'm like, okay, that's all great. But I just couldn't get that to line up with the opportunities that I was getting. And it was like, okay, well, you can't do that because you need to get this experience. And I'm like, cool, can I get that experience? And they were like, no, you can't get that. But I'm like, but then I can't do that. And like, yeah, well, you can't do that because we've got you doing this. And I was like, yeah, but if I do that, it's just drove me quite insane.
And did you see your male colleagues not having those barriers?
Different ones, yeah. I'm sure they did in different. Well, actually, I don't know if they did in different ways, but it's when people are, rising through the ranks, and I'm not saying like they could be also incredible broadcasters, but it's just if you're there too, there's that, and that's what I mean by what I wanted to tackle in Over to You. It's like that, it's that intrinsic competition that all of us experiences. It's what makes us human, and then not trying to judge ourselves for it when it's really hard. Like it's almost like it's seen as like this ugly part of us, and it can be, but it's also just so natural in a lot of ways. Yeah. And so I would say those type of feelings, whether it be with my male colleagues or my female colleagues, are definitely what drove a lot of the narrative. Yeah.
And I wanted to even talk to you about like beauty standards. And it would be incredibly insane in your industry. Is that something that has always been so prevalent to you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. When growing up, again, I had no idea that, most people, especially women in TV, wore like hair pieces and fake eyelashes and all of this, I just thought that it's like, oh my God, these women are so beautiful. And they are.
Yeah.
But it's like, you also get a lot of help. Like, like today, we're on the news together tonight.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've already been made up. And so this is not what I look like.
No, it's crazy. And this is why it's so important for women and men to read a vast variety of genres, authors, voices, etc., because you get to experience that. Because my entire life, I have never walked into a room and someone said like hair and makeup. And
that in itself, I would say, is something that I found over the course of my career. And the older I get, the more it's like, look, don't get me wrong, I love hair and makeup. But it's an hour and a half to 2 hours out of your day, and you're expecting to produce the same results and be exactly across everything as your male colleague who gets to be there for 15 minutes.
Correct.
So it's just actually a time and resources deficit for you.
100%.
To meet a standard that was you had no business making.
And then also depending, historically, then you also, if you're a mother, wife, etc., you take on the, household labor.
Yeah.
Children, you take on all that. And it's just this unpaid toll of hours of labor just because we expect a different standard of you than we do of men.
And I would say it also goes, unfortunately, it goes against a lot of my career as being a sports journo because, not that I should be listening to comments and stuff, but I could give you the best analysis of a particular play in rugby league or footy and walk you through it step by step. And the comments that I'll get will be like, oh, I don't like her hair. I'm like, okay, I'll do breaking. I was front of the breaking news, rolling coverage of the Black Summer bushfires. And people were just like, oh, I hate your hair curly because you look like a Cocker Spaniel. I'm like, okay. But how about the 4 hours of TV without an autocue I just did? How did that?
Yeah. Yes, yeah. And when we talk about sports broadcasting, I will see ex-athletes get roles in broadcasting and they are absolutely horrific at it.
Yeah.
Horrific. And you won't hear a word about it.
No. But you also get, and they might even get better. But the thing is, they have the chance to get
do
better.
It. Yes. Whereas you're expected, if you don't nail it and you don't look $1 million while you're doing it.
Yeah. Good luck getting back on.
Best luck. Yeah. Hey, you'll be back in the boss's office having a conversation. and
as it is now, people don't love when I necessarily have my natural curly hair on TV.
Really?
It's always a conversation. Yep, with bosses, higher ups, because they don't think it looks as polished. I'm like, yeah, but this is my hair.
But it's not about what you look like. It's about what you're talking about.
And in a way, they're right, because a lot of the audience feedback will just be like, I don't like when you, people come up on the street to me and they'll just be like, I don't like you in yellow. And I'm like, okay.
That's
okay.
It's so ridiculous to me. And we're getting so far away from books, but I'm so interested in this. I need to talk about this with you, and I'm sure that and my listeners will enjoy this too. But where do you think that comes from?
There's a nice reading of it, which is people think they know you, right?
Yeah.
For better or worse. So there could be a nice reading of people coming up to you and just giving you their unsolicited opinions because they think that, we're friends because I talk to them on TV, right?
Yes, yeah.
And they care about you, which is lovely, which is really nice.
Yeah.
But also I think that it's just a hangover from bygone eras of TV that haven't necessarily caught up to the current one.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of change, don't get me wrong. We're moving, but it's, to quote Miranda Priestley, glacial. It's glacial change, And that's the bit. That's really frustrating. That's been super frustrating.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to move on. I literally could talk about this for hours. So I find it so insulting because as a man, never once has someone come up to me being like, I didn't like your hair when I saw you that day, or I don't, what you're wearing is no good. Never once in my entire life, ever. Yeah. I think it's ridiculous and it's insulting. Anyway, moving on before I get angry. Sacrificing for success is something that's so prevalent in your, and it's just, we're trying to, I want this, but this is what makes me happy, but I need to sacrifice that to get this. And I felt that so viscerally reading your book. And it's something that's really prevalent even to me in my own life, and so I want this thing, but I work so hard here, etc. Why is that so important to you, and why was that so necessary for your book?
I think it's honest.
Yeah.
And I would say, that, the best of my favourite novels, fiction, fantasy, whatever genre, ultimately they're based in honesty. So it's like regardless of what's happening, if you're creating honest situations or honest tropes or honest feelings, that's going to hit your reader harder, or at least I hope it does. Yeah.
Or they'll be able to connect with it.
They'll be able to connect. It's
Yes.
all about the connection, right? And I think that in the media industry in particular, there is a sense, and I would say it's over the course of my career, all I can talk to is myself, but I put it on myself where it's like I see it as a calling, and it's like it deserves to take everything from me because I'm so passionate about it. So I'll give like everything to it.
Yeah.
But then I've been on the other side of that where it does not reward you at all. And there's actually a line in the book, it's early in the book, and there's an altercation between like an older anchor and Carter. And she calls her like a printer. And I remember that's based at one of my girlfriends literally said that to me because I had missed out on an opportunity and I was devastated because I saw that as an attack on myself rather than just maybe any other thing. I was like, I took it so personally. And she was just like, no, you can't be taking this so personally. Like, just think of yourself as office equipment. You're a printer. That's what you need to do. It's like if you break down, they get another one. And I remember it stuck with me forever, which is why it's now in the book. But it's
that's great.
It like knowing that, but then understanding it and living it, different. Yeah. Also, there's, we're our own worst enemies. I don't know if there's like some, I don't know, this like fantasy about being a martyr and stuff, being like, I'm so my craft, I'll give everything to my craft. Like that could be part of it too, It's like, yes, I know you're a good journey, but do you remember that I did this? Like, that kind of thing. So we're our own worst enemies in a way, but definitely that sense of sacrifice and self-importance, I think there is that. Like there's definitely like an ego. There's always egos in any job, but especially in the media industry. Yeah. But that sense of self-importance is something that I think that I have only really started grappling with probably through the book and not judged myself so much for it now, which is why I'm hoping that people don't necessarily judge the girls because that's authentically what it feels like.
Yeah. And this is a great segue actually into my next question. Who is this book for and what do you want someone to get from it? And then also, if you were for younger girls who, and not even just girls in media, but also girls in media, like younger girls getting into, want to be Georgie Tunny, what's the advice you would give to them? And then if they read this book, what would you want them to take away from it?
Well, I hope the book is for anyone who wants to read it.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? But anyone.
I read it. I loved it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. See?
Yeah.
See? Men can read it.
Yeah, men
absolutely.
Can read it. Absolutely. Men should read it.
Yeah. Well, I think so too. Like it's just
100%.
At its heart, I just think it's a rollicking good time. Like I honestly believe that. And then when I was doing all my edits, like I would just loved rereading it. And I was like, that's a good sign. That's a really good sign. And it doesn't have to be that serious. Like there's super serious themes in this book. Yep. But also it's just an entertaining space, right? People have this fascination with TV, behind the scenes, like newsrooms, high-stake environment. And, I mean, I always have. It's been an obsession of mine for my entire life. Yeah. And I get to live it every day, Yes. So for me, I think anyone who has an interest in that, this book is for them, but also people who just are obsessed with female friendships. I would like to say, is it called the Bechdel test? What's that? Is that like the thing where it's like there's like this thing and it's you mark different either books or films or elements of pop culture against this Bechdel scale, and it's like because a lot of female characters are only in existence because they're talking about men. Yeah. In a way, like every single scene that they're in, it's like they're just talking about
centers around men.
Yeah.
And proximity to men.
Yeah. Whereas I made a really conscious effort with this book for that not to be
the case.
Some of my favourite feedback of people who've read the book is that they love that, there is romance in this, but it's not the centre of it at all.
Yeah.
And because I love my friends, it's like I want friendship to be the thing.
And this is something I'm reminded of all the time, and it's why I love reading like books like yours, because it reminds me so much, because I've grown up in such a patriarchal society where men are centered, and every piece of content that I grew up with had men at the center of it, and it was always your proximity to a man, your relationship with a man. How does a man involve in this? And it was all, everything was geared towards that. and I've been so conditioned in that, and so have we all in society, that it becomes so invisible to me that I just like, you just look past that stuff and you just don't even realize it.
Yeah.
And then when things like this happen, you just sit there and you go, cool, like that.
It's the aha.
Yeah, it blows my mind.
Your reaction is that for me is like that. This is why I wrote the book.
Yes, yeah,
like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
for people to have these sort of moments because I just want people to think about this book after they've finished it. Because if a book stays with you, even if it's a fun one that you can read in a weekend or whatever, it's worth that. It's worth existing. I want them to be dog-earing the book and like go back to it.
No,
like, whoa,
we will be cutting that out.
Stop.
No one who listens to it in the good books is allowed to dog tag any books.
But imagine like the thought of like seeing like my book, the spine with it all cracked. Like that just fills me with such joy.
Yeah, okay.
People, you can go back to it. It's not for you.
If you come into my house, it will look pristine. Okay, you're like, did you actually read that?
Your other, and I think to go back to your original quote, because you had two parts, but to wrap up the first part of it, I also think I wrote it, what I hope people get out of it is I was very conscious of wanting to make it super like snappy dialogue because that's something that I just found that I love to write. And so I hope that people enjoy that, because those were my most fun moments when I was writing, was actually just like writing the scenes of the girls interacting or just the back and forth. Lou Phillips is my newsroom boss, and she is like hands down the most fun character to have written in that book. Like, she was just so fun because she's you know, I don't know, you love her and you hate her, and it's just all the things. As for girls who want to get into the media industry, hypocritically, chill the fuck out. Like, actually, you can't have everything all at once. Like,
and it takes time.
It takes time, which is really annoying.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm still coming to terms with that, as you may be able to tell. But yeah, I would just tell them to chill. And if you're passionate about it, like, just back yourself.
Yeah.
Because I got told so many times over the course of my career that I had to pick. Like, I had to pick sport. I had to pick entertainment. I had to pick news.
Yeah.
I couldn't have it all.
Yeah.
And I just refused.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I love all of that though. And I know what I'm talking about. And I think I've always had a good sense of taste. So I would back people to trust that. Also, there's another part in the book where I talk about how Carter, she said she never wants the story to be about her. And I remember that's been a huge thing over the course of my career. I think it is one of the reasons that I'm a great interviewer, because I don't want it to be about me. But also, it has held me back in certain ways because of that, like my adherence to that above all else, I would be so rigid for so long in terms of my compartmentalization, like actually being with someone in a room, because I didn't want to make it about me. I'm a very emotional person, and I'm like, do not cry, do not connect. So I'm there actively fighting the connection while trying to build a connection.
Yeah.
And I think that for anyone who wants to get into any kind of field of media, you just have to be authentically you.
Yeah,
you have to have that authenticity, especially now, because it's what sets you apart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to do something a little bit different.
Okay.
It's similar to the segment I did with Nath Velvo, but we're going to change it up a bit. So we'll see how this goes. But
I love
do
Nath.
first. Nath is the best. He's an absolute legend. But we're going to do first, last, and always.
Oh.
So my question is, it's about sexual partners.
Yeah.
No.
I was like, okay, give me a moment.
No. It's about books, of course. So the first book that you ever remember falling in love with, like that first book where you're like, that's the one that I fell in love with, that made me fall in love with reading, that made me fall in love with books. The first one.
Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah.
That still to this day is probably the one I've reread the most of the Harry Potter series.
You read the first one and you're like, meh. And then you read the second one, you're like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. That was the one for me. And then I've read like the fourth one a lot, and I've read the seventh one a lot. But the Chamber of Secrets was the one that I would just go back to again and again.
Which part of it do you think got you? Was it the final scene where where they're battling
The basilisk.
basilisk.
I think it was the friendship.
Yeah.
She's been obsessed with friendship her whole life. But it was the friendship between the three characters. But also I think, and look, that was when Quidditch is involved, and there's a lot of Quidditch in that, and I love sport, and it's like, so it's like all my areas.
J.K. Rowling, you know me.
You know me. But also like just because of like the twists, right? Like there's just all of these different twists, and I think that there was moments of great humor in that from what I remember. Is that where he vomits up the slugs, Ron? I can't, but I don't know if it's that book, but in my head it is. And I just remember like, laughing out loud reading that book. Yeah. And so, it would be just the one that I would constantly go back to if I was like, oh, I don't have anything to read. I'll read that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I love that. And the last book that you read, what was the last book you picked up?
The last book I read was Heated Rivalry for like the second or third time after already watching the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got that grip on you.
Yeah. And I've already read, and I read The Long Game as well. So it's literally Heated Rivalry or The Long Game would be the honest last one I've read.
I need to read The Long Game. Have you read any of the others?
No. Here's the thing. I'm only interested in Shane and Leah.
Okay.
The other, I love when they have their little appearances, their guest appearances. I love that. And this might change with, whenever they appear in the next season.
Yes.
But yeah, it's, I just love those characters so much now.
Yeah. And finally, always, AKA, we asked everyone who comes on, what is your good book? So this is the always. And this is the book that, at the end of the world, this is the one book that you're clutching in your grips at the end of the world.
Finnegan of the Rock. By Melina Marchetta.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm literally in a Melina Marchetta shirt. So I'm obsessed with her. I wrote her, she's in my acknowledgements of Over to You. I got her to get me a cover quote. She is, I adore her.
Yeah.
But lots of her books when I was growing up were more of those for want of a better word, young chick lit, but just young adult fiction.
Yes.
But it was, Looking for Alibrandi, Saving Francesca, my ultimate favorite, On the Jellicoe Road. So they're all based in reality.
Yes.
So it's like young girls growing up, right? But then after that, she released a fantasy series, and it's the Lumatere Chronicles. And so there's Finnegan of the Rock, Froy of the Exiles, and Quintana of Charon. I think you will like them.
Yeah.
I actually tried to find Finnegan for you, but I couldn't find it in my bookshelves, but you should get it.
I will.
That is hands down, I would just read it till the ends of time because it's got everything I love in a book. It's got the adventure, it's got magic, it's got love, but it's got romance, but also the love of...
Any quests?
There's a big quest.
Oh.
Big quest.
Sign
big
me
quest.
up.
Big quest. Big quest.
Yeah.
Strong female protagonist. It's got everything that I could ever want in a book. So I'm that's what I mean by there's certain itches, and if I could only read one forever and ever,
that'd be it.
Because it would need it every time.
Thank you so much
Thanks
for coming on, Georgie.
Thanks for reading my book.
No, my pleasure. Thanks for writing it. Well, actually, what's next? I'm sorry, what's next? Where are we going with writing and books?
Well, I would love for I would love for there to be a sequel to Over to You.
Yep.
It ends pretty abruptly.
Yeah.
Yes. That was actually, I remember the first draft, I was just I ended on a more of a cliffhanger because I was like, see you in the sequel. And my publisher's like, you can't have to finish this book. And I was okay.
Yeah.
So I definitely think there's more stories. I'm not finished with the girls. I can see where their stories could go. But I want to dip my toe back into the my young adult novel, my fantasy series that I'm writing. Because now I'm like, do I want it to be more romantasy because that's hot right now, or do I just go back because what it originally was, which was YA, and I adored it, and I just it's so much fun writing it. So that I want to go back into that. I actually read it recently, and I was just like, oh, it's not bad. But now that I've written a book, I'm like, okay, I can do much better. I can do better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, great. I can't wait. I can't wait to read them all. I can't wait to have you back on many, many more times when you publish every single book that you will for the rest of your life.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you, Georgie. This has been an absolute. You're spectacular.
It's a joy.